Hey guys, never notice how much people go to court, how much people actually have to, or how much people get charged, how much people have to pay fines, bail. I decided because I just recently got in court. Not because I volunteers, because I got in my house with guns and everything. I said, you got to go. And fine, can't fight with people with guns, right? And so I noticed some things when I got in court. I noticed some things. And I've been noticing some things, and I share it. If you follow my page, you know that I share a lot about this, right? You know what? One of the things they tell me in a court, you know, I don't believe it, but because I send a lot of letters to court, right? Because we're supposed to be able to reach out to the court and try and settle matters privately, you know, because there's that option. But all of the letters I send to court, then just ignore it. And one of the reasons they tell me they ignore it is that they don't know what to do with it. One of the workers from them, where they worked 26 years there, tell me, you know what? Already 26 years that I work right there at court, I don't see nobody do what you do. Send letters and claim all of this thing about law. And I tell them, but why they not read the letters? They say, you know what? The thing is that I want to be honest and tell me. This is what they tell me. I want to be honest. We don't read any law books like you. I say, you don't have any law dictionary here? No. How interesting that in the courts they don't have no law dictionary. Very fascinating, you know, to see this. So I realized a few things is that the magistrates then seem to be given by the rest of the police people this type of respect and authority that is almost godlike or almost like master. You know, like when you have a master of a plantation where own the plantation and own the slaves, it's like the magistrate is looked upon like that. No go upset the magistrate. And it's true, because if you do upset the magistrate, what the magistrate do? Whether you have been proven guilty or not, whether you have been caused any harm, if she not like or he not like your way of coming at it, your question, then remand you, carry to prison. So what they do is they make people very, very scared to even open their mouth. So notice it, right? Magistrate court makes you very, very scared of talking, and you need representation. Why? It's a big fraud. It's a big scam, that's why. I asked the magistrate, I said, look, is not this venue right here a registered company? And he said, yes. Is not Belize a registered company? Yes. And I could show you, guys, I could show you in the website, the stock exchange, and there's a website, International Exchange, and Belize is actually registered as a corporation. It is a corporate entity. Does it belong to me, you, the people? The corporation does not belong to us. The land might belong to us, but the corporation does not. There's a difference. Land, corporation. Land is real. Corporation is paper. So I asked the magistrate, so if the magistrate court is a corporation, if Belize is a corporation, it's the very same as Bowen and Bowen is a corporation, BSI, that one corporations. So corporations, aren't they just limited to setting rules for their corporations? They cannot make laws for the people outside of the corporations, correct? Like Bowen and Bowen can't make laws for we. Bowen and Bowen can make rules for employees. So she said, no. This is the substantive laws of Belize. You have to follow the substantive laws of Belize. So what is substantive? Oh, you have too much questions. This is the thing, is that we need to realize that this whole time we've been being governed by a foreign entity, and now we get the revelations, we see it for what it is. So I had it right there in the bushes right now, in the mountains, and it's very loud. I don't know if you can hear that. Then the birds just There's a lot of parrots. But yes, when I mean about limited in the laws that they could do, I could prove it to them. One of the things, like I said, the courts they don't even have no law book, no law dictionary, from what I see. I asked. But in this law dictionary, I want to read through now, what is the definition of magistrate, right? Just keep this in mind. It says here, magistrate. A local official who possesses whatever power is specified in the appointment or statutory grant authority. Statutory grant authority. Like we hear that word a lot. How many of us know what statutory means? Anyway, make I continue. It says here, a judicial officer with strictly limited jurisdiction and authority. Limited. Why is it limited? Why is it limited? And remember, statutory, that word statutory. Now, a lot of us don't understand what that means. But why is it limited? Because when you go to court, it seems that the magistrate is unlimited to what he could do. If he could take away your life, and he could throw you in jail whenever, however, you then wake up with an attitude, is that limited or is that unlimited? Because it more appears as unlimited. So I want to read to Honor what is the definition of a corporate statutory or statutory corporation. The reason I want to read that is because remember the magistrate court is a corporation, right? And it's a statutory body, right? So we know that it's a statutory corporation, right? So let me see if I can find it right here. It's a corporation, C-O-R, let me see. I had it, and I lost the page. And I had a good back and forth at the court, and it's very interesting when you start asking questions how they don't like it. They really don't like we to ask questions, But this is what statutory corporation means. Remember this, right? Now, the magistrate is limited to statutory grant authority. Now, make we see what statutory corporation means in the law dictionary. It says, it says a municipal corporation. Now, if you look at city council, town council, then are municipalities, right? Make sense? It says here, a corporation that is created by a special act of legislature. The statutes defines the corporation's power and functions, establishes the rules and regulations governing its employees. Listen to that. Governs the employees. So, if Belize, corporate entity, has employees, it is the employees that are under the statutory laws, not the people. We don't belong under statutory laws. It's not for us unless we are incorporated, unless we are part of the corporation. Now, how do they get us to be part of the corporation? Because apparently it's legal, right? And it is. What they do is they register us as a legal corporate entity in their system. And the way they do that is they put our name, they put it in a corporate format, a corporate style of writing, which is the all capital letters. So if you have a license, a trade license, right, more than likely if you see the name of your business as trade license, the name of your business is in all capital letters. Because that is how you distinguish on paper in the two-dimensional world a corporate body or a corporation or a company as opposed to a man or woman. So let's say, for example, right, today I go and I register, I trademark my name, right? Kind of like Michael Jordan, right? Like how he trademarked his name. I trademark it, I copyright it, right? And I want to open a business like that. Now, how I want to be able to demonstrate to the world that Chandan Makijani, there's two of them. There's one which is a corporation, which is a business that I do business under, and Chandan the man. How would I do that? So, under law, there's ways to do it. It's called the separation of entities. In states, they have a form for that called the UCC1 form. Right here, I'm not sure. I'll try to find out if we could use that UCC1 form. So far, I've heard that we can. But it appears that our governing officers, they don't even respect those things. They don't even, I don't even know if they understand it, but I would sure hope that they did, because then we need to eventually separate ourselves from that entity, because they're making an assumption that anybody that goes to the magistrate court is basically representing that corporate entity, and then they charge it. Remember, they charge. You can't charge a man or a woman. You could charge a company. You could charge a credit card. You could charge a battery. You could charge dead things. But you can't charge the living. Living is full of energy. It's full of charge. But again, it's language. When you go to court, it's all language. There's a specific language that they force everybody to follow. And they have the guns. They have the authority. They have the power. And if you don't follow their language, they threaten the hell out of you. As long as they could make you follow the language and then put that on paper and make you sign it, now you're in contract to that language, and now you are their property, and they could do whatever they want to you. They could charge you. So it's basically one of the biggest fraud that we will have to deal with, we the people. Now, people are very scared to deal with courts, very scared. We have been thoroughly whipped by the colonial system, that we are very scared to challenge authority, you know. Not only are we scared to challenge authority, we are scared to even trust our own judgments. We could tell, we could tell that it's a fraud, but we are scared to mention it. Again, we have this cultural insecurity that we don't trust ourselves. And if one of us in the crowd seems to be able to point out certain things, then it makes us nervous, because we don't want problems. We don't want no problems, right? But this is the thing, is that nowadays we find out, thank goodness, that we connect. And we see that this is happening worldwide. Worldwide, people, they rise up against this type of, not only injustice, but this type of fraud. Big fraud. Now I'll make a video. I want to share with them or something. And hopefully help paint a better picture of who we really are, and our true potential. You know, we could do amazing things. You know, we could do so much amazing things if we wanted. We can convert this whole world into a beautiful paradise if we wanted. I know it sounds crazy to even say that. A lot of people say, oh yeah, it's just too optimistic, it's never gonna happen. Well, I mean, not with this system. Not with this type of educational system. Remember, our schools, they are lone Roman Catholic schools. Romans, they went all over the place. They're a military governance. The Roman system is a military governance. And what they do is, wherever they settle, they make sure that the people are getting the type of education that will keep them in a certain paradigm, which is that of a slave. That way you don't question things. That way you don't have a voice in a system where you're just a number and you're property. And you need to be told what to do because you're not wise enough, you know. So we still have that. Look around. We have Roman Catholic schools, Roman Catholic churches. You know, there's so much scandal within the Roman Catholic history, you know, but we're not allowed to point it out. It's just so weird. But it's all coming to light. Hey guys, thanks for joining in. I see a good amount of people joining in. I just want to do this quick live just to share this because I got it in me, This whole thing about the magistrates courts. It's so easy to prove that it's a fraud, It's so easy to prove it. What's hard to do is to convince people to just hear it out. Just give it some consideration, give it some thought. Not saying act upon it, but at least think about it. Think about it. See, I travel in my car, right? My private car. And I don't register my car. Why? Because I learn, I start to read. Whenever we register for a car, we get into a contract with the government. And it's with a corporation. Remember, it's all contracts. And as soon as we register it with this company, this private company, they accept certain conditions, right? So upon registering your car, you're now giving up your property, saying, I don't want it, it's yours now. And they take it as their property, and they give it back to us in trusteeship. As trustee, we're entrusted to take care of it. And if anything happens to it, if you don't have on brake lights on it, if if you don't have wipers or whatever, you have to pay. If you don't have it licensed, if you don't have it insured, you have to pay. As soon as you register, you actually are contracting to be incorporated, being part of that corporation, and now that's not your property. So now they can, anywhere you are within the country, they could stop you because it's their property, and they could check, hey man, what do you have? What do you don't? Hey, you don't have this up to date, and then if you don't, you get the ticket, you get the summons and all that, right? It's because of the contract. By registering our car, we do that. So now I said, but we need insurance. What about insurance? Well, yes, if you want insurance, go ahead, get insured. But you have all the right. And that's what I did. I sent a letter to them saying, anything happens to this car, if my car or my private property is involved in any accident or whatever, guess what? I am going to cover it. I don't care what happens. I will pay for it. I'm giving you my signature right here. And that's what's called a bond. I'm bonding the liability. The car is a liability. It can cause some damage. Who's going to cover the liability? Well, usually one insurance company would do that, and then you're good. But it doesn't have to be an insurance. It could be you. As long as you know you could cover it. Say, I cover it, and you give a bond. When you bail somebody out, it's a liability. Well, you bond them, Our liability needs to be bonded, and we could bond it. We're men and women. We have unlimited energy. So, because it's a private car now, in private bond, it's none of their business. Of public officers, none of their business. However, not only that, but I also give them notice, not only in my private, but I'm willing to do business with you guys, because I know it's all corporation, it's all business transaction, it's all commerce. So guess what? I don't mind doing business with you guys, but it's going to cost you. My fees, this is my fees if you want to do it. And I don't mind registering my car. I really don't. I'll register it. I'll get the driver's license, but I need you to pay me. Because a truck driver gets paid for driving, a taxi driver gets paid for driving, a bus driver gets paid for driving. So if you want to make I be a municipality driver, no problem. Pay me, and I'll do it for you. No problem. So once I've given this to the Minister of Transport and the head of the police departments, the head of the traffic departments, all of the mayors, I sent out 52 letters. Send them all out, letting them know, hey, this is my car, my property, privately bonded, and if you want to do business with me, no problem. This is how much it's going to cost you. And if you trespass on my rights, this is how much it's going to how much it's going to cost you. This is the fees, these are the penalties, this is just how it is. I'm ready to do business. And so, obviously, now this creates some form of communication and commercial dialogue with them, right? And that's all they want. In reality, as long as we could prove ourselves to be responsible, then we don't need governance. We need governance when we can't be responsible. somebody who like drink and drive every weekend, obviously they're a liability. You know, I don't blame them. I don't blame people, the police officers, for wanting to do something with them, because they're not being responsible. I know they said take away the legal system or take away the courts and all that. I just said let's fix all of this. Let's fix it up. We could do it. Each one teach one, right? There's a lot that we need to work on right now together. Because if we don't do it, we have the foreign entities, the foreign agents who work for the crown, ready to impose their power and authority on us. And there's more of us people than there are of them agents. So we actually own all the power. I'm not saying that we should exercise the power and hurt them or anything. Never. We shouldn't do that. There's no need for that. We should remain in peace. As long as we learn these things right here, learn about the laws, real laws, natural laws, common laws, laws of equity, laws of contract, laws of trust. I know not all of we could learn this, not all of us need to learn it. But at least a good amount of us should learn it. And before anybody going to court for anything, they should go to a course. You should at least go to a 2-week course on learning about law, how to be responsible. And by the time you go to court, you should be able to prove of what you've learned. Then yes. But if, as long as the court is a business and they're just profiting off people, I don't think we're going to see much progress within our own development as people. We won't see progress in people, but we will see the corporations expand. So we have to make a decision. Do we want really to give the corporations all this liberty to do so much to we, or do we want the corporations to work for us as servants? Because we could get up. Corporations should be serving us. We are the gods of the corporations because we created it. We set the rules for corporations. We set the laws for corporations. Think about this, right? All of the territory of Belize, all the land of Belize. In the land of Belize, they have all these different resources, all these different treasures that can be interchanged with through commerce all over the world. These treasures right here of all of Belize, it's being managed by the Treasury Department. Now, if we have to put one number of how much really the treasures of Belize, and we talk about all of the wood, all of the food, all of the oil, the rocks, whatever that can be used for commerce, that's the treasures of Belize. Now, if it belongs to the people, right, then all of us should be getting a cut of that. So let's say if we have to calculate the treasures of Belize, I'm just giving a number. Let's say it's $1 trillion, right? And everybody get a share. Then that means everybody has a big cut. Right? Everybody has a big cut. Now, who's managing the Treasury Department? Who's managing the Finance Department? Right? Obviously, it's foreign agents. And we don't seem to be able to know how to manage that, so we're not going to be entrusted with it. We don't even know how to manage our own business, our own, travels of a car. We need help for that, So obviously, if we ever want to claim the treasures of Belize and get the interest of it, because see, the interest, all these different everything that belongs to Belize, it's being lent out to the corporations. Like, for example, the roads. Originally, how it start is that the roads were borrowed and used by corporations. So they're the ones who need to pay the taxes to us. We're not supposed to, because it belongs to us. The roads belongs to the people. The people build it. It belongs to the people. So if the corporations want to use it to make money and profit, fine. They need to pay us. So all of the land of Belize, everything is being used by corporations. Corporations' taxes are supposed to go to the people. That's how it's supposed to be. But we are not getting this. We know they understand it. Simply because who's managing the things for us are corporate entities and foreign entities. Obviously, they don't want to tell us this. We have to figure it out on our own. We have to be responsible and wise enough to be able to see this, you know? Anyway, guys, I don't want to take up much more of the time. I just want to do a quick live. I appreciate all you guys for tuning in. I'm going to be making some videos soon. Just sharing whatever I've learned. This is not to convert anybody. I'm not trying to convert anybody. You do with this information whatever you want to do with it. At least just think about it. Just give it some thought. That's all it is. If you don't use your mind, you're wasting such a valuable asset. So, let's continue learning, let's continue growing, and let's remain in peace. And I hope you guys are ready to expand your mind and knowledge and put to practice what we did learn. And start to send notices to these men and women who have pledged allegiance to foreign entities, letting them know that we finally understand what happened. Just a few months ago, remember, they forced people to get injections. You couldn't even go to hospital without getting injection. You couldn't even go to court, the police station to file a report. You couldn't do none of these things. Limited. Just to show you that they registered us as corporate entities and we have privileges under that framework. And that's why they could take away free privilege anytime, but they can't take away rights. We have to claim those rights. But we first have to know who we are. If we don't know who we are, we don't know what the hell rights we have. We're confusing rights with privileges. And we need to learn to distinguish one from the other. And again, if anybody has something to say against this and say, oh, I talk fool, hey, you know what? Let's do a debate. Let's do it. You know what I mean? Let's clear it out, because I don't want to share false information either. But if you have something to say that or you want to say that I am spreading misinformation, let's do a challenge. You don't want attorney, you want to do that? Fine. You have way more knowledge than me at Mr. Attorney or Mrs. Attorney. No problem. Let's do a debate though. Let's do it. That's no problem. I'll just raise questions and you answer, and you raise questions and I'll answer. Let's do it. Let the people decide. Just like how I said to the people from the doctors last time, I said, you know what? There is no virus. It's all detox. I asked, let's do a debate. Let's do a public debate on this. To make we the people have more honest dialogue. So that's what I'm saying. I'm leaving it out there. If you think I spread propaganda or rumors or false things, well, hey, you know what? I don't want to do that, and I would like to correct that too. So debate me. Challenge me. Let's do it. I don't mind. If I look stupid at the end, hey, ni modos, what you gonna do? But just keep in mind, everybody should be watching this. People deserve to know what is going on. People deserve some truth now. You're done tired of the lies. Tired of it. So anyway, you guys have a blessed day. Be safe. Continue learning, continue growing, continue expanding, and remain in peace. Love and blessings. Bye.